Welcome back to the Green Yard. It is a beautiful, sunny, slightly chilly January afternoon here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's been a while since we put out a video here in the Green Yard. Lots of things have been going on in the background, including, just enjoying the holidays. I myself, I had surgery, things of that nature. But we're back, and this year I am so excited. It's a new year, new plants, new things happening in the Green Yard. This year, really focusing on infrastructure. So we might not see as many planting videos, but I will definitely still be doing a lot of update videos, how's it growing videos like this one, as well as it appears we're going to be doing a lot of harvesting videos. You can see a whole bunch of our big, huge papayas here hanging out on our papaya tree. Hopefully going to be harvesting those here in the next couple months as well. But we're over here in the side yard of the Green Yard, next to what has become my absolute favorite mango tree. This is our fruit punch mango tree. I actually planted this on camera back in March of 2021. So almost 3 years ago now, I went and I put this mango tree in the ground as a small little 3-gallon mango, and it has just taken off. I've done a lot of things differently than our Kiri mango, which I've done a couple harvesting videos on. That one's actually a year, actually almost 2 years older than this one. But I did take that one out of the ground at our old house and bring it here to the Green Yard. So it had a little bit more of a traumatic time than this one did. But that one was planted in the fall of 2020 in the Green Yard. This was planted in the spring of 2021. So pretty close in age in terms of how long they've been in the ground here in the Green Yard. But this is a beautiful tree. It's done very well with structuring itself, with spreading out this last year. Um, let's go ahead and let's talk about some things that I've noticed and how it's been growing here in the Green Yard for the last 2.5 years. Here we go. All right, so the side yard of the Green Yard here, we got some of our tropicals over here. This is actually our black sapote tree. I did an update video last, I believe it was in the summer I did an update video. Definitely going to do another one this coming year. It has just taken off this fall, still putting on new growth. We've hit mid-30s now a couple times, and this tree is still putting on that new growth, really kicking some butt here. It's I'm excited to see how that tree does. This is our Spirit of 76 mango. I actually planted at the same time as our fruit punch mango, but trimmed a little bit differently. It has a little bit of a different growth to it. It likes to put on a lot of really dense foliage, whereas the fruit punch mango likes to really spread out before it puts on new leaves. So kind of interesting to see the different varieties and how they like to grow. But this one's almost 3 years old too, 2.5, 3 years. Some good branching on here. Should get some Spirit of 76 mangoes this year as well. Excited for a harvest of those and to try those out. Dragon fruit. This one's a red dragon fruit, putting off some new growth, trying to grow up to the top of this trellis here, start growing over. Maybe next year it'll do better than it has been. We talked about our Chico sapote lately. Really cool thing over here though is that it actually does have a blossom on it. So I'm hoping that we have some Chico sapotes next year. I am going to cover this guy here in the next few days, as we're going to start hitting the low 30s. Same with our black sapote as well. I'll be covering that one too. We have our beautiful papaya here. Papayas looking really good, really big papayas on here. In fact, this one, this one is just a monster papaya. I'm surprised it hasn't ripened yet. I have a feeling they're going to hang on to the tree until the spring, and that's when they're going to start ripening out. So we're going to have a whole bunch of papayas here in the spring, as long as it doesn't get too cold, which over here in the side yard, one of the nice things is that we are close enough to the house where this side doesn't seem to get as cold as some of our other parts of the green yard. And here we have our tree of the hour, our fruit punch mango. Really is, I think, the best looking mango that we have here in the green yard so far. It's about 4.5 feet tall, pretty wide actually. I think that's really what helps it stand out, is the fact that it's about 4.5 feet wide too, from one side to the other, really growing in that width, which is something that kind of has shocked me so far. I have done a decent job of pruning and shaping this tree, which is why it looks as good as it does. I found that if mangoes are not pruned and shaped, they end up looking like our Kerry mango, and they end up kind of becoming a ground mango. And what I mean by that is they don't really have that tree shape. They grow more like a bush here in the Phoenix area. Just what I've noticed from my experience, I know other people have other experiences themselves. I am starting to see already some new branches trying to come out here. Usually we don't see these until the spring. Both this one and our Spirit of 76 have flowered and held on to some fruit the last 2 years, both in 2022 and 2023. But the fruit would get to be about golf ball size or so, and then they would fall off. So haven't yet tasted the fruit on any of these, but I have a feeling with just the growth they've experienced in the last 6 months that they will be holding on to fruit, and we're going to have some awesome harvest videos this year. One of the other things you can see over here, and kind of why I believe our fruit punch mango has been doing so good, is because of all of this heavy mulch. Really, really heavy mulch over here, about 1.5 feet deep or so. Really helps to retain that moisture, helps in the summer, helps in the winter, to keep these trees both warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer, which is awesome. Also been doing our agricultural sulfur and fertilizing once a month with that fish emulsion, which I believe has helped it grow too. Trunk's starting to get pretty big on these, which is awesome. Definitely no longer that little tiny stick, more like a good sized branch on these two. All of these trees are grafted, and I do try to keep, for the most part, this mulch away from that graft to expose that root flare down here. Here you can see the graft of this fruit punch mango. So, besides our trunk getting a little bit bigger here and it being grafted, one of the other things that I've noticed with this tree, and why I think that our fruit punch mango has actually done better than some of our other mangoes, is because of its location. So it gets sun the most out of all of the other plants on this side of our side yard here. So it usually gets summer sun until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it definitely gets some of that intense summer heat, and it did great last year. We had a really intense summer last year. There were no burnt leaves. Nothing crazy happened to our fruit punch mango. It actually seemed to like that sun and that heat. So what I found is that for a lot of our mango trees, yeah, in the first few years they need to be shaded. They need to have a little bit of that shade, but they want to grow into that full sun. They want to take that full sun over time. And that's something that I found with our Kerry mango that I think it is lacking, is that it's never going to get that full sun. And while it's still fruiting, I don't think it's really reaching its full potential for fruit. So something to consider when planting your own mangoes here in the Phoenix area is that maybe doing some artificial shade instead. Planting in full sun, offering some artificial shade might be better than planting it where it's always going to get that shade. Just my experience and what I've noticed here with our mangoes, even our Super Alfonso that we planted last year, it gets sun until about 1 o'clock. I didn't shade it anything beyond that 1 o'clock time, other than, like I didn't supply shade prior to that 1 o'clock time is what I meant to say. And it did great. It actually put on a whole bunch of new growth in the last 6 months since we planted it, doing really well. So maybe our mangoes like to have a little bit more of that summer sun. One of the other things, I know I mentioned mulch already, but it's really cool to see when you do heavily mulch just how much the soil changes. So I'm just going to dig my hand in here a little bit away from the tree, and the soil it's no longer that super clay soil. It's dark, it has a lot of organic matter in it. It's doing really well. And so it's fun to see how when you mulch here in the Phoenix area, how quickly that soil becomes more organically rich, and it helps retain that moisture more as well, which is everything that we want here in the Phoenix area with our fruiting and flowering tropical trees. So I really enjoyed planting this tree. One of the few videos I've had anyone else be on with me, and that was my dad, who ended up coming and planting this tree. I have a lot of old footage from that video as well that I'll show now, but it was a lot of fun kind of talking him through how to plant a mango tree. We planted this one in our Spirit of 76 at the same time, and then he actually went to his house and he went and planted an orange sherbet mango tree, which is doing really well. It actually is better structured than our fruit punch mango here. I've done a better job of pruning that tree than my own. But it was just fun to share some of that knowledge with him and kind of get him into growing some of those fruiting and flowering trees. And now he wants to do chico zapotes and avocados and much other things too. If you've liked what you've seen so far, please make sure you subscribe below. If you have any questions about our mangoes, definitely comment. Try to respond to those comments. And of course, as always, live green, plant lots, and have fun. We'll see y'all next time.